let's answer the question, guys. So what does the future look like? Fortunately for humanity, guys, a group of incredibly amazing people, right? From the West, they were called the Whiteheads, orchestrated a generational plan to free humanity from the clutches of the cabal, deep state, or as they should be known, the Khazarian mafia. Simultaneously, guys, but independently, there was a second group in the East called the White Dragons. They also devised a plan to defeat the evil Khazarian mafia. Guys, these two groups worked independently of each other for decades, but eventually realized that by working together, they would achieve even greater success. So that's what they decided to do. Guys, the sustained efforts of these two incredible groups, the Whiteheads from the West and the White Dragons from the East, culminated, guys, in the election of Donald Trump in the West. And over time, the White Dragons have worked very successfully to remove the Communist Party in China as well. So let's have a look at what this means to us in the short term. So in the short term, guys, unfortunately, the cabal is still to some degree entrenched in every level of control on the planet. So they do still have some level of control. They exert control over everything from school boards, guys, all the way up to the top levels of national governments. They have control over national and international judiciaries, national and international medical boards. They also control world bodies such as the World Health Organization, NATO, and also other organizations, things like the CDC, the FDA, etc., and which give them massive control, which is going to be removed soon. They control the stock exchange, money supply, and banking too. This is changing rapidly as the cabal loses more and more control every day due to the efforts, guys, of those amazing Whiteheads and White Dragons. The whole devious criminal system which the cabal has foisted on humanity is based on massive fraud, bribery, criminality, and, guys, unbelievable crimes against humanity. So as you can imagine, guys, dismantling this evil behemoth with as little disruption to humanity as possible has been an unbelievably massive undertaking. But here's the great news, guys. The great news is that we've turned a corner. And despite the cabal fighting back really, really hard, those heroes, guys, the Whiteheads and the White Dragons, have managed to gradually, over time, applying this generational plan, over time, they've been able to dismantle the criminal system of control which the cabal has had over humanity for a very, very long time. Okay, so that's the short term. Let's explore the medium term, right? Most countries who were masquerading as corporations, right? They were pretending to be republics, but they were actually corporations, have been or will soon be recognized as republics again. We're very close to that point. Guys, this has been done in the background to cause as little disruption to humanity as possible. I mean, the Whiteheads have done a remarkable job of shielding humanity from everything that's going on. So as the corporations masquerading as countries were all bankrupt, in terms of the debt owed to the cabal banksters, those fraudsters, right? The assets of the corporations, namely their national pensions, are forfeit. And that sounds terrifying, doesn't it? But not to worry, guys. There is so much wealth out there. The pension funds, guys, were filled with worthless fiat currency. So the loss of these funds, guys, it's not going to be a massive challenge once those stolen assets, right, are returned. And it is extensive. We're talking septillion, 100 zero kind of naught things. It's a lot of money that's been stolen, right? So all stolen wealth from in the form of gold, silver, precious stones, works of art, etc., guys, have been recovered or are in the process of being recovered. Based on these funds, several funds have been created to facilitate the redistribution of the stolen wealth back to humanity, as it should be. Guys, there are funds such as the Saint Germain Fund, Rodriguez Fund, Spiritual White Boy Funds, many funds around the world that are going to basically help this money come back to the hands it should be in. There's also JASARA, right? So in the medium term, we can definitely expect the Global Economic Security and Reformation Act to be implemented. What that means is return to constitutional law in every single country. All fake leaders of these so-called corporations will immediately have to leave office, and they will then be replaced by a small board of governors, like very enlightened spiritual people who will be appointed to run each country, guys, until elections can be held. Those elections will be run in 120 days after the announcement. It also means that we move away from maritime law back to common law. It also, in order for this to go ahead, no country may be involved in any other military action against any other countries. So in terms of Jasara, guys, all currencies will have to become asset-backed. Taxation in the form of a general sales tax of around 14 cents will be the only tax levied. So all these ridiculous property taxes and personal taxes and you name it, hundreds of taxes will all be removed and will only pay one tax. All currencies, guys, will be revalued against each other to ensure that there's a level playing field. They'll all be asset-backed. Global currency reset. New systems, guys, will also be created to support humanity to live in the abundance that is our birthright on this planet. A new quantum-based financial system will be introduced to facilitate financial transactions on the planet and beyond. Banks as we know them will no longer exist. Birth certificates will be eliminated, which means, guys, that humanity's sovereignty will be returned. Our straw man will disappear. We may even be paid out for our straw man, but the jury's still out on that. Humanity, guys, will no longer be viewed as chattel and property of the country's Department of Transportation. Can you believe that? Guys, enormous sums of money will be released to support humanity to break free from this poverty mentality. That's the medium term. Let's explore the long term. So in the long term, guys, the earth moves into an incredible place of love, compassion, and abundance where our prime driver will be the simple adage of just do no harm. Guys, there's going to be over 6,000 hidden or suppressed technologies that are going to be released. These are technologies like free zero-point energy, Tesla energy. There will be free energy, guys, to power our homes, businesses, and transportation. We're going to be looking at med beds or sonic healing technology. Guys, the entire medical profession is going to morph from its current model of pushing those poisonous petroleum-based drugs, pharmakia means black magic. We're going to change to a place of healing, where healing occurs naturally using light and sound frequencies, what we refer to as sonic healing. We're also going to move into an age of quantum computing. The world is going to begin to operate on a quantum level where everything will function using quantum computing, right? What's that going to include? That's going to include quantum education, where we're going to download education. Voting, there will be impossible to ever cheat in elections ever again. Financially, everybody will do their own transactions. Banks as we know them will disappear, right? We will have access to a universe-wide internet. So we're going to be able to interact with the universe, a quantum internet, right? We're also going to be able to do commerce with other planets, other star systems. We're going to be amazing, right? There's also going to be interstellar travel, guys. We're going to become the most amazing interstellar travel. How are we going to do it? Well, we're going to have spaceships, etc. But we're also going to have wormholes, portals, amazing teleportation technology, guys. People are going to then leave the planet and they're going to colonize other planets. Guys, let's talk about quantum education. It's going to be introduced on all levels, from nursery school all the way to postgraduates, guys. We're going to no longer send our children to be indoctrinated by a broken educational system. They will instead, guys, download the most amazing learning or growth that they require in a simple, easy format. People will no longer work at a job, but will rather become creators who love what they do, working in their vocation every day. And once we escape from the debt-driven world, guys, we're going to move into a new era where people don't work to survive, but rather invest their time daily as creators doing exactly what they love. Guys, eventually there'll be so much abundance around that money is virtually going to become unnecessary. Let me try and explain to you how that construct will work, right? So as there will be a fixed number of silver and gold coins in each country's economy, and it looks like it's going to be about 100 billion gold coins and 100 billion silver coins, right? So it's going to be a fixed amount of coins. But then we've got to remember is, as people will no longer be in jobs where they're just going to do enough just not to get fired, people are going to be doing what they love. So this is going to result in a massive increase in productivity. That massive increase in productivity is going to turn into a huge increase in products and services available. So remember, what's going to happen now? fixed number of gold and silver coins, but productivity is going to go through the roof. So it's going to be exactly opposite of what happened when we had inflation. So if we go back to 1913, right, when the Federal Reserve was introduced, Federal Reserve has just printed as much money as they wanted. So the production stayed the same, and in some cases it might have even decreased, right? So production stayed the same and massively increased money supply. So that meant that we had a fixed amount of goods and more money to buy those goods. What did that mean? That meant inflation. Prices went up. Well, we're now going to have deflation because now we have a fixed amount of money. People are going to be incentivized to optimize productivity, that we're going to see exponential growth in productivity, exponential increase in the number of goods and services available in the marketplace. What's that going to mean? It's going to mean that prices are going to come down because you've got a fixed amount of money available to buy more and more and more goods. Guys, it's going to get to a point where eventually everything's going to become so cheap that we're not even going to need money. We're going to have replicators, etc. But that's another story. This video was basically to introduce you to common law, just to give you an understanding of what common law is, what the difference is between the term lawful and the term legal. In the next video, we're going to do more of a deep dive where we're actually going to start to get to know what is your straw man. We're going to understand what you can do with your straw man. We're going to try and understand how your straw man was traded, etc. So basically what I want to do is I want to equip you to understand how to best utilize the switch from maritime to common law.